welcome to the launch event, really, the online launch event for Middle Park State School. We were planning to meet together, but of course, with the current restrictions, we can't be at school on site, but this is the next best thing. This is about us just getting together tonight to learn about the Fathering Project and what a dad's group looks like in your school. So my name's John Rudder, and I obviously represent, along with Chris Burrell, who's on the call here tonight, an organisation called the Fathering Project. We are a research-based organisation set up to increase the engagement and effectiveness of fathers and father figures for the benefit of the children and families. Basically, we're all about helping dads in being the best they can in their most influential role, which is being a dad. So again, tonight we're here to launch the dads group in your school community, and we'll be looking at what that looks like in greater detail as we go. So the Fathering Project was actually started by this gentleman, who's Dr. Bruce Robinson. Now, Bruce was actually, he's a lung specialist, leading lung specialist in WA, very highly regarded. And he was actually having lots of end-of-life discussions with men, unfortunately, in that profession, who were suffering from lung diseases, terminal lung diseases such as asbestosis and cancer and things like that. And something that he was finding, that he was having these discussions with men as they were looking at that prognosis. And they were reflecting back on their fathering journey. And he said there was such a clear message from most of these men. And there was three things. The first one was that they regretted how much time that they spent in their careers that actually took away from their family life. And they think the career was important, but it wasn't that important. They probably dedicated too much time to it. They regretted not being the dad that they really wanted to be. They look back and think, I just didn't spend enough time at home. I didn't spend enough time being an engaged dad, and I regret that. And the third thing what they would say, these dads, was that I really wish someone had told me when I was younger. When my kids were young, I wish someone grabbed me and said, hey, get the balance right as early as you possibly can. So Bruce, as a researcher, started to look at that. It was impactful. So I actually wrote a couple of books around it saying, dads, I feel that we want to, have this message from these fathers that have gone before you to get it right, and started looking into what fathering and the effect of fathering on young people. And again, Chris and I really resonate with that last comment from him, that these dads wanted to know. They wanted someone to say, hey, just get the balance right. So we really feel that we're about that. And part of the dads group is actually delivering that message and then making sure that we have the skills and the ability to be as effective as we possibly can in our kids' lives. So I'll give you I'll let Bruce actually share with you a few comments around this. So I'll just put a quick video on for you.
Although the Fathering Project was initially set up really because of my role as a doctor talking to men who were dying, who'd wished they'd spent more time with their kids, what really got it fired up were the statistics that showed that the most powerful missing force in preventing the problems that adolescents have today is that of a strong father figure. I mean, what's happened is kids' risks have gone way up. Drugs, binge drinking, problems at school, bad attitude to school, at the same time as dad's ability to perform has gone down. And the Fathering Project closes that gap. We focus on father figures because, to be honest, mums are on average doing a pretty good job, but fathers are a lot more variable. And kids have their radar out for what a father or a father figure thinks of them. And that's why it's so powerful if a father speaks into their life, is affectionate and gives them that sense of direction and love. The reason so many people are enthusiastic about the Fathering Project, and we hope you will be too, is that it is the most powerful force. The chance to change the future of Australian society is enormous. There is nothing like it that has the chance of being as powerful. For kids' problems, it's like turning the tap off instead of mopping up the water. That's why it's so powerful, and that's why we'd like you to become involved.
It's a powerful message. Every time I watch that, I'm impacted. And I love the fact that we have done so much research into the power of the role of the father. And so this is definitely not about pointing out our mistakes as men at all. It's really about presenting the opportunity and letting us as dads really know that there is a role for us to play, and it's critical. And as you say, as Bruce has said as well, that we're also inviting father figures, because young people in the development, the healthy development of their mental health and character, it's critical that we have almost a community of men. And that's really what the Dads Group can also do when we have our fathers and children events, that you're actually around, your children are then, able to see and influenced from other strong men in their lives. And that's a very powerful influence. So I'll just have a quick look again at the research in our next slide. And so fathering does matter. Okay, so the research that we have done is absolutely compelling, that there is a role that we have that is as dads that no one else will fill in the lives of a young person. Now, on the screen, as you see, on the left-hand side, we've got the decreased risks. We call those the risk factors. As a dad steps into the life of a young person, those risk factors are reduced. And what we look on the other side, which is our protective factors for young people. So when a dad, again, engages and just really affects and builds a strong relationship with the children, the protective factors and their performance naturally goes up. So it is an opportunity for us as dads really to see, our role, help define it, and then confidently step into it. So us as a vision and a mission as an organization is to ensure every child has an involved and effective father or father figure. So this is about that you can actually have a positive and lasting impact on the health and happiness of your children. So let's have a look at it. And again, as you'll see that we've got the chat bubble there. What do you think, guys? And I'll stop sharing the screen again. We'll just go back to the chat function. Just start having to think about, what do you think your kids or all kids need from their dads? So what we're looking at really, again, in that research, and you guys know it, is that that time which you just mentioned, time with our kids, and that's really about focused time. The research says that about 8 to 9 minutes each one-on-one with each child is an ideal basis for a parent-child relationship. And we think, wow, 8 minutes, I'm sure we're doing that. But there's times when we are with our kids, but we're not super engaged with them. So there's actually a real call to be really focused and have that eye contact time with our kids. Shows real interest, communicates and listens, really takes such valued interest in the life of your children. Takes us to sport and trips. So it's really about creating memories. Often we'll say, even ourselves as dads, do we remember, our maths class, for example, or, just sort of day-to-day schooling, or do we remember camps? Do we remember those significant events in school that really shaped us? And so what we're saying to dads is, have a look at those. Be intentional about creating memories, create those special times and make memories with our kids. Play rough and tumble. And this is what kids give us feedback on. We actually did a launch event recently before we went to an online forum, and we actually had a lot of kids in the session. And so we're able to ask them directly, what do you want from dad? And it was almost verbatim from these young people, and they would have been in grade 4 or 5. And they were saying, this is the sort of thing that they really love from dad. They want rough and tumble. Our role is really around setting boundaries, showing values and role modeling what it's like to be an adult. Kids love when we read to them, show affection and that soft side of the masculinity, and makes us feel safe, which you guys also talked about there. So what we're going to do is just actually look at the challenges. Now, guys, I'm going to get you an opportunity now to actually use the breakout function. So I might put you into a breakout room. So you definitely will get to meet each other. And Chris might join you in that one. And what I'm just going to ask you is look at the challenges. What are the challenges that you have found in fathering?
Yeah, definitely. I'll start, then I'll throw it to Tristan and to Stephen. But for me personally, I shared that before I came to the Fathering Project in the first year of Charlie's life, coming from that corporate background, out the door before the sun came out and back when the sun went down. So I really found spending quality time with Charlie, and also with my wife, Kate, just spending that quality time and helping out where I could. I found that it was quite hard to fit it in, and definitely made me reassess where I wanted to see my life in a couple of years. So
yep.
you talk about Bruce Robinson's statement at the start of the presentation, it always just rings a bell in my head saying, wow, I could have been that guy if I didn't make some changes early on. So,
Yep. Yeah, it is a challenge. I mean, we feel such value in work as well, and we feel that's something that we can do to bring to the family, so we can focus on it, but can also then be our own bottleneck blockage from the things that really matter to us. So yeah, definitely. Thanks. What sort of things, Steve? Do you mind if I just throw to you? What sort of challenges did you find in that discussion? And
Yeah, sure. Challenges were as well as time, because I work full time, and so say like by the time I get home, it's more like eat dinner, getting them in the shower, get to bed. So during the week, quality time is an issue. So it's just making sure that that you're getting involved in their world as well.
Yeah, well done. Yep, exactly right. It is about being intentional, isn't it?
Yes.
It's tough because parenting ends up being a part-time gig. It's like an after-hours gig, and it's tiring. So it's good.
Yeah.
Kristen, is there anything you wanted to add, mate? Is that you might?
It was pretty much the same thing. It was all about time management. I also work full-time job, but I actually intentionally joined the school P&C community to be more actively involved in my children's lives, and I actually found it very interesting that my children responded very positively. They could almost depend that I was going to be there regularly on a Friday to actively help with P&C type stuff, so they sort of knew that I was actively around the school grounds.
Isn't it amazing? That's awesome, because that's what our research also says. And we're actually just developing the third session in a series that we're running online to help dads groups get up and running. It's called the Fathers Before You series. And we're actually looking at helping your kids have a learn to love learning, really. And the research shows that as soon as a dad engages in school in some way, even if they go to a parent-teacher interview or there's something, the children go, what? Dad doesn't mind school, or dad's positive around school, and we see academic engagement, and it's just amazing how that. And so all it is really dad's just showing value in it, and then again it just speaks into the sort of quiet influence that we have as role models. So that's a great comment, Tristan. Thank you. That's really awesome. The other thing I was just going to say, I will just share the screen briefly just so you can see this one, I'm not going to invite you to share on this because it might be something personal, but this is something that, ask dads to even reflect on. What is something that you experience that you want or don't want for your child? And, if you want to even just make a note for yourself, but it's just something that I know when I look back that we weren't in a family that praised. My parents, and they actually, talked about it after, said, we didn't want you to be cocky kids or overly confident. So we actually didn't want to praise you, because I was really worried that we'd be egotists, but it actually had the opposite effect. We really felt that mum and dad just didn't see the good in what we were doing. So we started to really seek for that. So we've had discussions on 1 of 4. We talk about that now, and that's something that I see as critical. So that's actually shaped my fathering journey now, as something that I won't do. But I actually felt, on the contrast, there was times where it was actually a very loving house as well, though. And so I want my kids to feel love, and it was a very affectionate home that we had. So lots of hugs and those sorts of things. That's also shaped my journey. So often when we do our fathering thoughts and things, like we talk about the values and what is the legacy that you'd actually want. And I think it's really important to pause at times and go, actually, what have I taken from my own family journey that I'd really love to make sure stays in the family that I'm creating now? So I often just invite that as a discussion and an opportunity. But gents, what I'll do now is we're going to look at some content just to give you a taste of what we're about, I suppose, so you can get a feel of what the Fathering Project is and what we stand for and how we support you in your fathering journey with some of our tips and things like that. So the BUS. So the BUS is actually an acronym. And often we say, guys, all you need to do really in the core elements of things, if you're looking for something to do and how you increase your engagement as a dad, is just get on the bus. So let's look at BUS being BUS. The first one is B for being there. So really make sure that your children know that when you are with them, that you're really present. Tristan sort of alluded to that, even if they, that they know you're around school, they actually take an interest in them. But again, almost like what I mentioned before, is that 8 minutes. Are you really being present with them and letting them know that you're actually really taking interest in what they're doing. So an example of this for me is I'm a basketball coach. Actually, I was at training tonight with my kids before this session, and I enjoy that. And I saw that I was, a present dad. But I've even joining the Fathering Project has made me more accountable. And one of the things that I had recognised is that this is Tia, and we took this photo. And the statement that I made really around this was, this is the time that I turned my phone off straight after this photo, because there was a time prior when Tia was just starting under 10s basketball, and I would go and I thought, I'm being here, I'm present. But I actually picked up my phone at one stage to reply to a notification and missed a critical moment for Tia, which was when she was, getting some points, okay, getting baskets. She hadn't got baskets before. And when she came over, it was gutting to me that when she said, "Dad, did you see that?" And I had to say, "What, darling? I missed it. What was it?" And then I realized, how did I miss that? And I thought, I just picked up my phone. How ridiculous. It was a weekend. I didn't need, it was an email. I didn't need to respond to it at all. And so it was just another accountability thing for me to say, being there, yes, I'm physically there, but am I really tuning in for my daughter, which is actually my priority, not my emails at all. So I think it's a great thing for us to just each day say, let's get on the bus, and how will I do that? And so when we get together in dads groups, it's even just having discussions and saying, what's a challenge we could do this week, guys, or something like that, and bring awareness to, are we really being there for our kids? The U that we look at is unconditional love. And what we're talking about is that no matter what our children do in their behavior or what's happening for them, is that, and it might not be something that we actually like or that we're proud of, that we actually see that love is never a transaction that we actually remove from them, or they don't feel the vulnerability of love being taken away from them. That always our kids feel that no matter what, they are our child, and therefore we love them. And so, again, Chris and I often talk about that if we haven't felt this ourselves, as in maybe again from our own fathering story, if we don't know what it feels like to have unconditional love displayed to us, it can actually be maybe a bit of a challenge. So all we say is just explore this, see what it looks like. And even if you have a partner, talk to them about it and say, do I show unconditional love? Or what does it look like in our household to have unconditional love? Because it is important for our kids to know that their behavior is separate to who they are, which is they're your child and you love them. The S is that they are special. Your child is growing and they're unique in some way. And it's important as they grow up, and you guys have on the call tonight all have young ones in early stages of primary school. They will be starting to show their personalities very clearly. They'll be showing their natural skills and they'll be growing in their natural strengths. It's really important that as dads, we take the opportunity to speak into those elements of our children, starting to really affirm the things and say, actually, I see you, you've got great perseverance in you, or where you're quite clever, the way you can work things out, or you pick things up quite quickly. So it's important that we actually sort of almost give descriptive praise and see those special things in our children. It's also important that that's actually accurate, that praise, that we don't sort of boost them up and say, you're awesome, or you're the best, because they'll know that we're lying. We know that we're biased. But so it's really important. Make that connection through relationship by really having that intimacy of saying, I see you exactly where you're at, and I just love it, and celebrate it. So that's a real simple bus principle. Tonight's all about starting a dad's group at Middle Park State School. So what we're going to do is actually just have a look at what does the dad's group look like. So I'm just going to put a video on now, which is a very active dad's group. Don't be intimidated by it, because they've been going for about 3 years, but it's a great opportunity to have a look at, really the scope and what you can do when dads get together and have some fun with their kids.
Hello, my name is Craig Pepsky, and I've been the leader of the Dads group, the Dads of Richmond Kids, fondly known as the Dorks, for the previous 3 years now. I think this kind of thing is important for the kids because it gives them an opportunity to, one, be with their dad or their father figure, whoever it may be, but also to interact with other fathers and father figures and see what it's like. And it's something different because it's not something that their dad or whoever it might be comes up with. It's quite creative. Well, the benefits for the dads that I can see is, one, we're all the same. You know, the good thing about when we get together, we have conversations, and it's amazing because you suddenly sit back and you think you're struggling with something, but then the person next to you is going through the same thing, or they've been through that same thing. So it's just a great reality check.
Overall, it's been really positive for the kids, positive for the dads. You know, you really felt part of the community, and it's just really well organised.
The benefits are just huge. The bonding that goes on and that sort of special one-on-one time is really unique for the kids with their dads.
I guess if I met someone who was thinking about starting a dad's group, I would say just give it a go. You know, it only takes one person to step forward and take it on, and there's always others that want to get involved. It's just, yeah, it's that first step, and once you've done that, it's not a problem.
If I could describe the fathering project, the dad's group, it would be inclusive,
Good people and fun. Simple as that.
Awesome. How cool does that look? Now, again, as I say, these guys have been going for a wee while, but it's really what you make it. The dads group is around dads really putting on the group for other dads. And so you do definitely get to shape it. We'll give you all the resources and give you plenty of opportunities and ideas and things like that for events and those sorts of things. But it's really about what represents your community, and how do you just engage and have some fun with your dads and your kids together. So as you can see here in the next slide, really this is about building community. It's a support network, and it does three things really. It gets dads to connect with each other. It connects dads to the school, which, as we just said with Tristan, you can see the benefits of that for our kids. But then it gives you an opportunity. It's almost a practical outworking of all the things we do. Say, if you're going to get on the bus, here's an opportunity to get on the bus with your kids and put on some events, which they will just love, and they will be creating, memories and seeing, my dad really values me because we have this one event where he takes me, and it's fun. And so, look, it's tough at the moment because we can't physically get together in schools, but we want to just keep on looking at different ways. Chris was just sharing before in another school that actually did a pizza and paper planes event online. Basically, what they did is they said, here's some YouTube clips on how to make some paper planes. Here's some pizza vouchers. I think Domino's even got behind it and started to give out some free pizzas for different competitions and bits and pieces. But saying, just book a night at home and video it or take some photos of you guys just doing something really simple with your kids, making paper planes and having some fun. Make an obstacle course in the backyard and shoot some paper planes around the place. And then share those photos online, and let's do a virtual, dads and kids event. Just something to just bring fathering to the fore. But again, you're just creating a memory for your kids, which is just fantastic. When we do get together, here's some photos of some of the events that we do. We do camps, camp outs, and you just saw Billy Carts there before. Corporately, we put on bigger events for around the state and those sort of things around the city. But it's kite flying and things. So we actually really just keep it as super simple as we possibly can. And so if you're thinking about even taking on leadership, please don't see this as going to be an overwhelming role. You're really a coordinator of the dads in your school, okay? And we will support you all the way. What we suggest is you have an event a term, okay? So work with your school, and Chapter Felicity is here for that. She really is an in-school coordinator to support you for that, help you with resourcing and ideas. But just simply say, look, what do we have? 4 events a year. 2 of those could be dads only, and they may even be off-site where you actually just go out to an RSL or a pub or something, just get a meal together and have some time together where you get to know each other and share that fathering discussion. And then there might be 2 events that you'll have also, which are those dads and kids events. And again, working with the school, we've also got some other schools and say we can't do it on site because of Ed Queensland or whatever's happening, but there's nothing stopping you guys from doing something at the park. And so just look at ways that we can get together and keep on creating those connections with dads, but also connections with memories for our kids. So as I keep on going, what we'll do is basically say where to from now. So the dads that are watching this, you're invited to be part of the dads group for Middle Park State School. There is a portal that we have on the back end of our website, which I'll show you a QR code in a second, which you can join. And that's a great way to stay connected. You will actually then receive supports and resources from us, from the Fathering Project. And what you'll do is actually get weekly dads tips. These are fantastic for just little messages and videos. Again, just some ideas on how you can engage and get on the bus even more, and keep on developing in your skills and your confidence in your fathering role. And again, let's gather and share whatever that looks like. We are supporting schools with online platforms as much as we can, getting dads together, even similar to what we're doing tonight, but having those discussions and keep on working on being the best we can for our kids. There's a QR code for this to join the dads group. So by just putting your camera function on your phone over that QR code, that'll take you straight to our website. And it's actually the dads group portal invite, or where you can register for Middle Park State School. So if you wanted to do that right now, even if it is a recording, still use this. And otherwise, go to our website, which is thefatheringproject.org, and sign up for the dads tips. But you can also search for Middle Park State School and join that way. Once you're involved there, you can, and as we would be inviting, is that it really has power in a dad's group when a dad takes the lead and says, I'll be the focal point for this. And hopefully with the guys that we've got on tonight, maybe there's a bit of a heart tug saying, yeah, I could probably do this. Or if nothing else, I'll take an active role in inviting some other dads to this. This sounds good, and I'd like to see it happen. What's great about Middle Park State School is that you've got some momentum happening, that there's some dads already, I believe, on the portal. And we've got other dads that were registered for this evening's session. So I don't think it'll take much actually to get things moving. But what's powerful is when you guys get together, you get to design, what does this look like for us? We definitely don't want it to be boring. It doesn't have to be sitting around having boring discussions about being a dad. Being a dad is fun. And so having discussions around being a dad should be fun also. So it's about you guys setting the tone. We will support you in whatever ways you need with resources and content, and your school will play the role that they can as well in supporting you guys in getting together. So once you're on also, exactly as we're just saying, you can invite others through email addresses and those sorts of things. And I do believe Chappie Felicity is using the Facebook group or Facebook page, I think, to invite more dads on that as well. So look, we know, get dads groups up and running, that there's magic that happens. There actually genuinely is. Dads feel so much more power in being connected with other dads. They realize they're not alone. Something that you may have recognized tonight when you started to share your challenges is that they were a duplicate. We often have the same thing. So being able to just validate in ourselves, support each other in that role is quite powerful. So we just know that you're going to have a great experience when you take the plunge and join and start this dads group. So I'll formally say thank you for coming tonight, for giving up your time, definitely and away from your family. So we also want to acknowledge that as a dad, that this can be a busy time of night. So thank you for investing in your children by actually investing in yourself and being part of this. Thank you to Sharon and Felicity also for your support and joining the call tonight and giving up your time after no doubt a busy day at work as well. So thank you for that. Again, there's your QR code, gents, if you wanted to join the Facebook group. But I'll stop the recording in a sec and let you guys go back to your families. So thank you.